Well, joining me now live is Independent Senator Jacqui Lambie. Jacqui, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. I want to begin by asking you about this possible deal with the Solomon Islands and China. What does a China presence in the Pacific mean for Australia?
Well, what's even more worrying for me is a frank discussion. That means a disaster, which tells me nothing. I think they took their eye off the ball, and the coalition needs to take responsibility for this. These are the guys that turn around and speak big about national security, and here we are, we're letting China move into our Pacific neighbourhood there and basically now standing at our front door. I mean, this is absolutely disgraceful. I can tell you now, Senator Patrick and I, for the last 2 years, have been trying to get a Senate inquiry on China. We would have picked this up 2 years ago and been warning the government ourselves about what was going on in the Solomons. So, this is just disgraceful. I'm just so disappointed in this government that goes out there, talks big on national security, and it's a bloody disaster. Let's be honest about that.
So do you think then that Zed Seselja's visit to the Solomon Islands yesterday will make any difference?
No, I do not think it will make one scrap of difference. We took our eye off the ball. It's something that should have been done well over 2 years ago, and to not be able to have that much of a close contact with your neighbours that you are not speaking to them on a regular basis is a problem. We've seen it with AUKUS. So the country rang up New Zealand the night before and said, this is the deal that we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. Did they ring Indonesia? Did they ring Indonesia to make sure that we stayed on good terms with them and explain to them what was going on so Indonesia did not have to hear it out in the media? This is what this government is doing. To keep national security tight, we've got to keep our neighbours happy, and therefore we've got to be communicating with them at all costs all the time. That's what we need to be doing, and they've failed to do this, the coalition.
Yeah, it's certainly one we're going to be watching very closely. I want to pivot now, of course, to the election. Firstly, Anthony Albanese this week made a few gaffes, forgetting a few key figures earlier in the week. Yesterday, criticised for cutting his press conference short. Do you think that it will impact on Labor's campaign moving forward?
Oh, you know what? 24-hour news cycle, something else will happen today or tomorrow. There's no doubt about that, and that'll just flip sideways. If I was Anthony, what I would be doing is spending a lot less time talking to the press gallery and out there with my boots on, talking to the people. That's what I would be doing, to be honest with you.
Yesterday it was interesting. The Greens leader Adam Bandt said that the public are turning off politics because of these so-called gotcha moments. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think, look, I've been out there with my boots on, and I can tell you what, apart from two people, and I have seen there'd have to be quite a few hundred I've spoken to in the last 3 or 4 days, and I can tell you, apart from, like I said, two, nobody else has mentioned anything about it. They're more interested. What they want to know is how they're going to buy a home, how come our health system is so bad down here, when can they get in to get their elective surgery done. That's what real people are talking about, the price of bread and milk. I mean, you've got a Prime Minister that can't even tell you something simple, what the price of milk and bread is. For goodness sakes, that's what the general population is concerned about. Not about what your WPI looks like for the week or anything else. So, let's get back to reality here and get back to the people and listen to what they're saying, because that's not on their agenda.
The Greens believe that they are odds on to hold the balance of power in their own right, possibly come election time. What do you make of these comments? Are you worried for yourself?
No, not particularly. But look, there's plenty of numbers up there. They've got plenty of power already. And if they haven't been able to do deals with the coalition along the way, or make sure that they've been up there for quite some time now, get some of their policies put in place when they were leading with Labor, when they were in, then you have to ask how come the Greens policies, how come there's not a lot more of them running around right now?
Today, Scott Morrison, he'll be in your backyard in your home state of Tasmania, looking to shore up votes there, focusing on the forestry industry. How do you think the coalition will fare?
Look, forestry is hit and miss down here in Tasmania, just so you know that. Half the people hate it and the other half, they love it. They know it provides a lot of jobs down here. What we do know is that we've been calling for this. It's wood cellulose. So we don't have to sit there and look at chip on our wharfs. We think that we're wasting a lot of our natural resources down here, especially our forestry, when we could be making much bigger and better things out of it. So it comes down to going back to manufacturing and exactly what can we cost add or value add to our forestry products rather than just chipping them. And this has been on the agenda for a long time. It blows me away that, they could have done this 2 or 3 years ago. We could have been moving already, and he's kept it up his sleeve for this long. It really would have been nice to see Tasmania. This idea has been sitting there for quite some time. It would have been nice to have seen that ticked off 2 or 3 years ago. So that's been really unfortunate. It really annoys me and other people out there when you keep things up your sleeve when we could have rolled them out before a campaign. I mean, seriously, people get to see what you are doing. They don't want to see you smashing them at the end with all these promises just so you can win your seat back. You should have been doing that.
Senator Jacqui Lambie, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.